Hi there, welcome back to my channel, Scrap and Coffee. I'm here with the final project share of the Land Down Under folio. I've been working on this folio for the last couple of weeks on my channel, and it's finally all done and I'm ready to share it. So if you are interested in making the actual project, you can already find all the construction and decorating videos in a playlist. The playlist is called Latte Project and it's the second project in the playlist, so you have to scroll down a little bit, I think towards the 5th or the 6th video where this project will start, but you can see that on the titles, right? And in the description box of this video and all of the videos in the playlist, you will find a link towards the cutting guide, your free PDF file for this project. So if you're interested in making it, you are already set to go. It's all there for you. And as you can see, I did a little bit of a different thing than I normally do with my projects. I had a gorgeous paper collection to work with. It's called Land Down Under by Studio 73. I don't have the front sheet anymore because I've cut it up for decorating, but I have one sheet that I've saved from this collection that I can show you. And that is this paper, and that's just absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't make myself cut into this paper, and I'm actually thinking that I want to try to get a family picture with probably the skyline of the of Melbourne City behind us in the background, and just make a little layout here and hang that on my wall. I could definitely turn this piece of 12 by 12 into wallpaper and just hang it above my bed or something. I think this is gorgeous. But you can see on here the brand name Studio 73. The collection name is Land Down Under. It is an Australian brand, and I'm not sure if you can find these outside of Australia. You have to do a little bit of a search if you're interested in this collection, but I don't know. So yeah, but it's a beautiful collection. It was a little bit different. Took me a little bit out of my comfort zone, but in a good way. And then what I also did is, what you might notice is I haven't used black as a background. I used a different color, a beautiful color. This color is called Rose, and it's from Kaisercraft base cardstock, 80 pound. Gorgeous color. I will definitely use it again, maybe like on a baby girl project or something. I love it. So what we did with this cover, it was basically, this project for me started all with the inspiration for the cover. The cover is offset, the closure, and I've made a frame to go on here, and you can play with that frame. You can treat that however you like to treat it. You can turn it into a shaker element. You can highlight a photo there. What I did, I've used, there were a lot of fuzzy cut elements in this collection, and I tried to make a little layout here with those fuzzy cut elements, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I've used dimension on here, I've added a title, some splatters. I tried to not glue everything down, so there is really that feel of movement, and yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. I just do feel that I need to be really careful with treating this album, right? It's going to get a nice spot on a shelf somewhere, but well, yeah, it's not something that you open up and shove around. You have to be a little bit careful with it. Okay, then I had this really beautiful big flower pattern that I really wanted to use, and up till the end I haven't used it, but I decided to wrap some chipboard and add some decorative elements to the spine. That was something that was in my mind from the beginning, that I wanted to do that. And then I thought maybe I can add that same element over here to fill up that empty space a little bit, because I didn't want to do really like pattern paper on this cover actually. And I was really in doubt about this element because it might be a little bit too much for some people, and for me it was as well. Before I glued it down, I placed it on there and walked away from it and came back and see, do I still like it? And then I took it away, walked away, came back, and then the more I did that, the more I felt like when it wasn't on there, it felt a little empty. So I decided to go with it, and for some reason my eyes get drawn towards this part actually. So maybe that's a little silly, but for me that is what's happening. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, it's a little bit different than what I normally do, right? Okay, when we open it up, and you have been following the videos, you might notice something changed. a little bit, because there was a different image under here, right? And I wasn't really happy with that. I've mentioned that in the videos, like I'm not completely happy with what we did there. And then by accident, when I was playing around with my fuzzy cut elements, my embellishments, this one ended up on here, not exactly there, but it ended up on here, and I just started playing with it and I was like, oh, that actually looks really nice. And I really wanted to use this element and I couldn't find a spot, and I placed it on here, and I'm so much more happy with what it looks like now than what it was. So the birds were under here, and I just covered them up with different stuff. You can still see the wing here, but I'm okay with that. I've added the title again, and what I did here is, because I wanted to have a little bit of a feeling of dimension, I've placed like one layer of cardstock under the embellishments to lift it up really, really slightly from the cover, because I have my magnets here and I cannot do that too much. I need the strength of the magnets. So I still have that feeling of dimension without the thickness of a foam dot or chipboard, right? So just used a little scrap piece of cardstock under it, and it lifts it up really, really slightly. I'm not sure if you can even see that, but maybe you can see it here a little bit. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. We can journal here, I can do a little photo there, but maybe I will just leave it just as it is. And then here, again, my magnets are here, so I needed to work around that a little bit. I just added a small journal or a place for a small photo there with a little embellishment. And my white cardstock is placed down with repositionable glue, so I can change that out for a photo. So the bulk that you see in here would be with photos. And I use a repositionable glue stick for it. This one is from Elmer's, but the Scotch brands I prefer over the Elmer's, but this one works as well really good. Okay, then we can open this up, and then this is the whole folio when we open it up. So I cannot get that in frame all in one piece, but this is what we get. I did a pretty basic simple waterfall element here, and I was actually planning on doing fuzzy cut elements on here as well, but it would just turn out to be too much with the image that's already going on here, and we have a continuous image going on there, so I just left it plain on this belly band. So sometimes with your paper choices, plans change, right? So beautiful image there. And then I've played with photo sizes within the waterfall. I've used 4x6, 3.5x5 and 3x4 inches. And then I've added some little embellishments here and there, so that pattern is continuous there. I show you that in decorating videos how I did that. And because I did that, I need to fill up the spaces here a little bit. I'm not completely in love with how that looks, but yeah, I don't hate it either. And I don't want to place pattern paper and put a photo on top, because that would be way too much bulk. So that's why I do it like this. I did layer it here and there, but I would definitely advise you to not do that on every page. So here 2 3x4s, and because it's a repositionable, I can take this out and change it for a full-size photo if I want to, but I just like to show you opportunities, right? Things that you can do with these flaps. So here I did layer it a little bit. Like I said, I did it here and there, but I suggest you don't do it everywhere. I love these birds as well. A little embellishment there. So I just played with the layouts a little bit, tried to change it up here and there. And then here we have that beautiful image that I showed you in the beginning in the 12x12. So on a few of the 12x12 sheets you get 4 6x6 images, basically smaller images of some of the 12x12 designs. And so I've used a smaller one right here and add a little journal or a spot for a small photo and filled it in here with a photo and some embellishments. And I just like how this all turned out. Something different for me. I feel it's still my style, my yeah, what I do, but I had to change it up a little bit with this paper collection, which I really like. So here we have some pockets with a flap, and I'm using some small elements here in the pocket to keep that flap in place, so no magnets. So what I did is just a small journal spot. I've used some scrap pieces to decorate the back. I haven't done that on every photo mat, but I have done it here. And then I had this one. This is really like a 1.5 by 2 inch image, and I just made that in a little, I just thought it was fun to use it. This is a 3x3 photo with some embellishments, And then on the inside of the flap I did a 3x4 with some floral embellishments. I really like how that turned out. And then I've used different sizes elements in the pockets here. And when you open up that flap, I just really like how it looks with all the different sizes going on. It's dynamic. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I just like that instead of having all the same things in there. So some tags from the collection. I made a little journal spot on the back. And if you might notice, I've done some, well, I want to say stupid, but I wasn't really paying attention when I did this in the evening, and I've got some pieces of scrap paper that still had the branding strip on the bottom, but I didn't realize until I've glued my pattern paper on. So you know what, this album is for myself, and yeah, it is what it is. I will just leave it. So in this pocket I've made a little booklet. So this is the same image. So this comes from the 12x12 size, and this comes from one of those 6x6 images, same image, just smaller. And yeah, I just use the same images here and there because I just go for what I like, and I don't mind if it repeats here and there, but there are more different images available. So in this booklet I did a 3x4 and a 3x3, so for journaling or 2 pictures. And I don't have this in the video, but this cardstock is, let's say, 4 1/4 by 6 3/8. And I folded that. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a cough here and there. I folded it on the long side. I folded it in half, or I folded it in half, pinched it, and then put it in my scoreboard so I knew where to score. But you can also just fold it in half. So that's the measurement of that. And then I have a 3.5 by 5 photo here. That's obviously not glued down yet. And in this pocket I did 2 3x4s. One is blank. Oh, I did it again, I see. And one I have I have a 3x4 card on there for decorating. So, and then in the back pocket I have one for a full-size photo. I loved this image, so I really wanted to use it, and then I can do a photo on the back. And I have one larger photo mat where I can place 3.5 by 5 photos. So I could do 2 3.5 by 5 photos next to each other here, but I decided to use that beautiful pattern paper on this, and I did the same thing on the back. And this photo mat is, let's say, 5 1/4 by 7 3/8 of an inch. You could fit a photo mat for full-size photos in here as well. So this one I've cut to 6 1/8 by 8 1/8, and you can fit a full-size photo on here with pattern paper or a second photo. But if you want to do a second full-size photo, you have to crop it on the short side a little bit. But this will fit in here, and you can close your flap. But I don't really like how that looks where it goes all the way to the top, so I decided to go for the smaller one, but just to show you the option. So this is probably the maximum amount that you can fit in here because of the bulk, basically. If I would make it more bulky than this, I don't think I would still like how it looks. It's already a little bit on the how do you say that? I would want to say on the edge, but I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. But there is quite some bulk, and that's okay. There is room, but you can also leave the flap out, by the way, and then you can add more. But if this flap has to curl over too much, then I don't like it, and I didn't want to do any gussets in this project. So, but enough space. There is enough space within the cover, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's basically personal preference, right? If you like to go even thicker or not. But this is the folio. I didn't do anything on the back, by the way. That's just blank. And I really love how this turned out. So like I said, if you want to make one for your own, you can. You're all set. Everything is there for you. The videos, the cutting guide, it's all available. And yeah, I'm done with this project. It's going to get a nice spot on the shelf. Hopefully put some pictures in it over time here in Australia. And I'm going to prepare a new project. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you want to join me in a new one. So for now, I want to say thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope we meet in a new video. Bye bye.